A very warm welcome to you from wherever you are, from around the world. My name is Jonty Herndon and I'm your host for this very special live video reaching out to you from London. This is a celebration of 10 years of this great charity's work. We are calling it Room to Roam, but we're really celebrating this great charity helping rhinos. Now they've been going now for 10 years, 10 great years. They've achieved an awful lot. But today we will be looking at some of their achievements, but probably more importantly, we'll be showing you some behind the scenes videos and work that they are doing out in the field. So we've got some great videos for you to show you. We've got some entertainment. Later on, we will be doing a prize draw. Now you may well be aware, and some of you, or a lot of you, have bought already £10 ticket, which entitles you to enter this great prize draw. This is for a fantastic safari experience. Everything is up on the website, and in fact you can see the QR code on your screen now. It will tell you all about this prize draw, which we will be drawing at 7:30, which is approximately an hour and a half time London British summertime. So the prize draw is only £10 to enter, and you can enter as many times as you like, but the actual value, it's priceless, because ordinarily you just can't get access to the safari that we are giving to you, or the winning recipient. For £10, it's literally priceless. It's an amazing experience. So I implore all of you to enter at least once, because this is very exciting. Also, I've got 5 or 6 wonderful lots, 3 safaris. I've got a beautiful bronze, which I'm sure you've seen already, to sell. And I've also got the rear of the year, which I will talk about in a little bit more detail a little later on. So, we've got the prize draw, we've got the live auction, all coming up later. But first off, we've got a video for you. And the video is the new patron Megan McCubbin and CEO Simon Jones, just taking a look at some of the great achievements of helping rhinos over the last 10 years, and also looking forward to the future and seeing where this great charity is heading towards.
One terrible night in March 2012, 3 poachers made their way here, to Koreka Game Reserve, and unfortunately 3 rhinos fell victim to their horrendous activities. The first male was found dead, the second died 24 days later,
leaving just one female who was actually found on the very spot that I'm standing now. Nobody thought she would survive. Her injuries were so severe, and yet 10 years on, she's not only thriving, but she's mothered 4 calves as well. What an incredible thing that is. But utterly heartbreaking was that footage, which spread all around the world. And Simon Jones from the UK, who had previously volunteered here on the reserve, was so gut-wrenched by what he saw that he knew he had to do something. So he set up Helping Rhinos to help protect these animals forevermore.
I had a kind of a passion for wanting to get involved with wildlife in their natural habitat and protecting that, and you know, the rhino has always been close to my heart. We started from a blank piece of paper, really, not quite knowing what direction Helping Rhinos would go in, and yet here we are a decade later. We've raised over £2.25 million. We've got our headquartered offices in the UK, we've got offices in the US and now in the Netherlands as well. I'm incredibly proud of what we've achieved, and most importantly what we've managed to do to help keep rhinos safe and protected in their natural habitat.
Through the dedicated work of Helping Rhinos, crucial funds have been raised to support and action the vital work on the ground. from the increase of anti-poaching units, including the Eyes in the Sky programme, to the Black Mambas, an all-female team who are stopping poachers in their tracks. Working alongside local communities helps to provide employment and empowerment while strengthening rhino populations. With the building of a new school comes a new generation of people who will protect their land and the wildlife within it. With your support, Helping Rhinos have aided those at the front line of conservation over the last 10 years. Veterinary and ecological teams are active 24/7 to protect, rescue and monitor rhinos, and a rhino orphanage gives orphans a second chance before being translocated to a new and wild home. There is a lot more that still needs to be done if future generations are able to see rhinos living in the wild and not just on the pages of a history book. Helping Rhinos partners with incredible individuals and organisations to create and protect rhino strongholds, areas of habitat that will be protected in perpetuity and allow the rhinos and all other wildlife to thrive. These landscapes will play a key role in addressing biodiversity loss and climate change through the creation of healthy ecosystems.
As we move into the next decade and beyond, we will and we have to achieve success in terms of this rewilding and restoring of wild spaces. And that's very much looking at a holistic approach to rhino conservation. So we're looking at making sure we're still keeping rhinos safe, the security, the protection, all the stuff we've been doing focusing on the last 10 years, anti-poaching work, etc. And we need to work at rewilding and restoring this habitat if rhinos and other endangered wildlife have a future on our planet.
It's clear to see just how much success Helping Rhinos have had over the last 10 years. It's difficult to say exactly the number of rhinos that have directly benefited, but I think it's easy to say there's been quite a few. And whilst it's important that we look back and reflect on the past and realise how far we've come, it's really critical that we look forward to the future as we think about projects involving range expansion and rhino strongholds.
Together we can and will make a difference so that orphans like Leko have a safe future. Get involved and show your support by visiting our website.
Well, hello everybody, wherever you are watching around the world, and I understand we do have people watching all around the world, as far as South Africa, the United States of America, Taiwan, Mexico, here in the UK, so thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. As you've just seen in the film, my name's Simon Jones, I'm the CEO of Helping Rhinos, and as I stand here now, I can't quite believe that we've been 10 years of helping rhinos and protecting rhinos in their natural habitat. And I have to say, we couldn't have done that without your support over the last 10 years. So thank you for supporting us and tuning in to see what we have in store today, and for supporting us over the last 10 years. I'm going to share a little bit more about what our vision is for the future here at Helping Rhinos, but before I do that, I've got a few very important thank yous that I need to make at the start of this event. So firstly, I'd like to say a huge thank you to ITS, who are our headline sponsors, once again for this event. So ITS, those of you that have been coming to our events for a number of years now will know that ITS more often than not our headline sponsor, so it's a huge thank you to them, that without them we just wouldn't be able to put on these type of events. You heard from Jonty Herndon before our 10-year film, so a big thank you to Jonty for giving up his time and coming and supporting us and being an integral part of our event as ever. And of course, as Jonty mentioned, he'll be hosting our auction later on, and we wouldn't be able to have an auction if it wasn't for the generosity of everyone who's donated and given us items for our auction later on.
I'd love to stand here and name check everybody, but unfortunately we'd be here probably until well past midnight here in the UK, so I won't name check everybody, but you know who you are, and thank you very much. Also, a big thank you to James Stevens, who is a filmmaker that's made the main event films that you'll see this evening. I think you'll agree when you've seen them all that James has done a fantastic job with the films. And also to Ben Wallace, who's made some of the other films you'll see, particularly around some of the auction items. And Ben also has done a great job, so thank you both to James and to Ben. And also to our newest patron, Megan McCubbin, who you've just seen on the film, and you'll see later on as well. And for those of you who will be joining us in the meet and greet later, Megan's also joining us there. So big thank you to Megan for giving up her time so generously in making those films. And as we stand here now, you wouldn't be, and I can guarantee you wouldn't be watching us and at all if it wasn't for Adam Dadswell, who once again is giving up his time for putting on all of this. So he's responsible for all the tech side of what we're doing and making it all run smoothly. Well, we hope so, at least anyway. And also to Cornflake. So Cornflake is a company here in London, and it's their property and their premises that we're standing in this evening. So they've given us this property tonight for us to put on and act as our studio. So a big thank you to Cornflake, and a big thank you to my team at Helping Rhinos, who have worked tirelessly over the last weeks and months, pulling together the auction items, putting together everything that we're doing tonight in the films, hopefully for your enjoyment. So big thank you to my team back at the ranch. And lastly, but certainly not least, my biggest thanks is to all of you for watching. As I said, without your support over the last 10 years, we wouldn't be able to sit here now and talk about the successes we've had over the last 10 years. So a huge thank you to all of you for your support. And I look forward to your continued support and meeting you in some of our in-person events in the future. So while we have achieved much over the last decade, and as Megan said in the film, you know, countless rhinos that we have helped to protect over that period of time, it's definitely not a time for celebration. Rhinos still remain critically endangered, and we are still losing, on average, over 1 rhino a day to poaching. And that's just not acceptable. And it's not just poaching, it's loss of habitat as well. The erosion of wild spaces across the world, and in particular in the habitats of rhino and the other wildlife that share their habitat, is something that is going to become as big, if not a bigger threat to rhinos in the coming years, and threaten their very existence on our planet. So, after the last 2 years that's been impacted around the world by COVID with travel restrictions, and that's impacted our teams on the ground hugely because a lot of their funding comes from ecotourism. You know, we're beginning to see tourism come back, but the impact of the last 2 years is still huge. And we're still seeing now impacts of other worldly events such as the war in Ukraine, to sort of the global impact in terms of cost of living and the rising cost of living. And I know that's impacting everybody, and it's impacting the livelihoods of our global conservation community. And we're coming together to help address that and make sure that we have a better future. So as we look forward, our goal at Helping Rhinos is to create a better future for our wildlife, that in turn will be a better future for our planet. We have a vision for a healthy, strong environment with a strong biodiversity, areas that we're calling rhino strongholds. And as we look forward to the next decade and beyond, our goal is to create these protected wild spaces in perpetuity, so that rhinos and all other wildlife have a secure area and habitat that they can thrive in. It's a vision that I firmly believe in, and it's a vision that I'm absolutely committed to delivering on, along with the rest of the team here at Helping Rhinos and our partners on the ground. But
It's a promise that I can't deliver on alone, and we can't deliver on alone. It's an opportunity for all of us to come together, to work, to leave, if you like, a living legacy for rhinos for generations and generations to come. Tonight, you'll see for yourself just how your support has laid the foundations for these rhino strongholds. You're going to hear firsthand from our conservation heroes in the field and the work that they're doing every single day to create a better future for our wildlife. We're going to transport you virtually, of course. We're not Time Lords, but we're going to transport you to the front line with Dr. William Folds as he carries out a translocation of a very special crash of rhinos on the Kareka Game Reserve. And we'll hear from the Kareka Foundation's Lindy Sutherland on the donation of new land that is vital and essential for the future of rhino in that particular area in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. Also in the Eastern Cape, we're going to take you up in the skies with our Eyes in the Sky pilot, Siseko Maanji, and we're going to be with Dr. Lisa Graham as we look at how data and data capture plays an increasingly critical role in successful conservation practices. Not only that, we're going to take you on patrol with the Black Mambas, the first all-female anti-poaching unit in South Africa, and we're going to go out into the classroom with their education outreach program, the Bush Babies. And finally, we're going to take you to an opening ceremony of a school that Helping Rhinos and the Save a Child Foundation have funded in Zululand. And I'm sure those of you that have followed our stories over recent times will know of Rhino Orphan Leko. So we're going to take you behind the scenes at Zululand Rhino Orphanage to meet and I'm sure fall in love with Rhino Orphan Leko. But as we've alluded to already a few times, we can't do this alone, and tonight's an opportunity for us all to come together. Jonty's already mentioned the prize draw and our auction, so please do get behind us. Please give what you can in the auction or in the prize draw, or even by just making a donation. I really do understand that times are tough for many people at the moment, and I absolutely sympathise there. But times are still very tough, as I mentioned earlier, for our rhino and our wildlife. And they arguably need us now more than ever before. So please, anything you can do to help us tonight to reach our goal that will help us continue our work to create rhino strongholds would be hugely appreciated. So, without further ado, let me introduce our next film of the evening. In February, I was fortunate enough to be back out in South Africa, the first time for 2 years visiting our teams on the ground. And I was joined by Megan McCubbin again, and we were with Dr. William Folds as we undertook a translocation of a very special crash of rhinos on the Kareka Game Reserve. So I will leave you now to marvel as what happened as the sun rose on this very special day.
I've come to Kareka Game Reserve on the Eastern Cape of South Africa because when it comes to rhino conservation, sometimes it's quite literally about connecting the dots. And right now, we're going to go and move some rhinos to their new home.
Kareka has been breeding the near-threatened southern white rhinos here so successfully that they've now reached their carrying capacity, meaning a lucky few will be moved to a new home. Covering 10,000 hectares and home to thousands of species, including lion, elephant, and giraffe, Kareka is one of the most biodiverse areas in the Eastern Cape. Many years ago, this was all farmed, but seeing a wilder vision, the Rushmere family purchased the land and started to rewild and expand. Lindy is the director of the Kareka Foundation and just acquired a brand new plot where eventually a new population of rhinos will be able to roam freely once more.
So basically, everything that you're seeing on that side of the river is the new land that's going to be incorporated into the protected area.
This acquisition was made possible thanks to the generous donation made by the Ferguson family.
Hamish, this land must mean quite a lot to you then. How do you feel about its future?
every time I've been here, I've been wowed by the amazing wildlife, and hopefully we can add to that and enjoy to see the animals thriving. Yeah.
When friends and families like the Fergusons put their hand up to say, you know, we'll purchase that property and we'll put it into protected area for perpetuity, the conservation benefits of the larger space becomes greatly amplified.
Today, thanks to your support and the partnership between Helping Rhinos and the Kareka Foundation, a fully grown bull called Colin, the son of Tandy who survived a poaching attack, is being translocated to form his own crash. Heading up the team is Dr. Will Folds, who grew up in the area and is one of the region's leading vets. He has seen horrific poaching attacks, but has also helped bring new life into this reserve.
How are you feeling about today?
We are always a bit apprehensive. We have done this once or twice before, but there are so many moving parts to this operation, so many things that could potentially go wrong, that you just have to keep your mind open for the impossible, because those are normally the ones that trip you up. So.
With everyone briefed, it's time to start the engines.
So Will is going off in the helicopter to get eyes in the sky and dart from above. I'm going to go in the cruiser so that when the Rhino goes down, we can be on there straight away to give it a helping hand.
Even from the air, the rhinos are difficult to see. With miles upon miles of dense bush, even a 2-ton rhino can stay hidden. Will's trained eyes soon spot Colin. He lines up his shot. It's a perfect hit. Everyone rushes in. We have to work quickly for Colin's safety. A blindfold and earplugs help him keep calm. Even though it's the morning, the heat of the sun is getting stronger, and so the team need to keep him cool by throwing water over him. They constantly check his vitals and move his body to maintain good circulation. It's a privilege to get so involved. I never imagined I would have this experience and get so close to an animal that's so special. After a tracking device is installed, it's time to get him up. Colin is given an injection which reverses the tranquilizer just enough for him to stand and be guided into the trailer and moved to his new home. With months of preparation, this is the moment everyone has been waiting for.
Lindy, this is a pretty special rhino for you.
He is an incredibly special rhino for our family. He's Tandy's second calf, but he was born on the 24th of January 2017, just 4 days after our father, Colin Rushmere, passed away. And of course we all looked at each other and said, well, if it's a boy, he's going to be called Colin. And the beautiful thing about the meaning of the name Colin is that it means victory of the people. And, you know, Dad was an empowerer of people. He was the wind in many people's sails, and what made him most happy was making other people's dreams come true. And this day has been a culmination of so much hard work by so many people, and so many dreams have come true today.
Today, a total of 5 rhinos have been translocated to this new land. A humongous effort by an incredible team of people. Now that they're all reunited, they can safely explore and get familiar with their new home. With Colin as the dominant bull, he will hopefully father many future generations of rhinos on Kareka. It's conservation actions like this that bring Helping Rhinos ever closer to establishing rhino strongholds across South Africa.
Wow, what a beautiful, impressive beast Colin is. So majestic. And what an operation. Now, I understand that's about 20 people involved in an operation like that to move Colin. And approximately, with all the drugs, etc., the cost of something like that is approximately £3,000 just for one operation. So it just shows you how costly the operations like this are. So we have so much more to do, so much more to give. But I've just been so moved by that video. I think it's just quite incredible. The next movie, or the next video you will see, is Megan catching up with Will and Lindy and just getting their take on what really happened that day.
Will, Lindy, I mean, what a day that was. How did you both feel that it went?
Yeah, I think it went really well. We had a little bit of a wobble with the mother and calf in that they separated. But once the darts were in, the anesthetics were really smooth. Their blood colour was great. They didn't get too hot, which we were a little bit worried about. And their release was just magnificent. We couldn't have wished for a better release.
Yeah. Bloody brilliant from us.
It was a really heartwarming moment. I mean, to be able to see that. I mean, you've worked with these rhinos so much, you know them all as individuals. So, like, what does that mean to you, especially with Colin, named after your dad?
You know, when you have moments like that, it kind of reconfirms the belief that these majestic mammals, there's a depth of intelligence there that we can't understand, and a recognition of each other, of family, of community. And it's just, I suppose it's the inspiration that we all need to keep doing what we do. It's those moments, you know. And working with Will is just, we were chummies in high school, and we're both passionate about the Eastern Cape and about the work that we do. So the chance to work together has just been amazing.
Yeah, Colin was waiting for us, which I was not expecting. We always worry if we put Rhino down in a new area that they might go scattering off in different directions, be very unsettled. But the fact that the three of them now know that they are there and have touched noses literally is really important for their sort of well-being and their stress levels. So yeah, we couldn't have asked for more. I think in the end that release really put the cherry on the top. The fact that we were working with Colin today is really special because it links back to Tandy, and the fact that we were moving to new ground, literally breaking ground into new habitat, but also in moving into some new technology spaces, which hopefully will give us a lot more monitoring control over them and help us to look after them better.
It's a huge step forward. I'm really excited to come back and hopefully see the land in a few years' time once all the animals are there. But what a great start that was. I mean, really incredible.
Yeah, and amazing to have Hamish Ferguson here representing his family. Without families like that, we can't keep moving forward. They're critical in the process, and we're just incredibly grateful to them that this next chapter of the story was written and that we were a part of it, and Colin was a part of it. It was a beautiful chapter.
That's really good.
We will savour it.
Yeah, I can imagine. So will I. But you both have worked together for quite a while. I mean, what's it like to kind of come together? You both saw Tandy when, like, I can't imagine what that experience was like to turn up and see her having been poached and still, you know, surviving through it. It must be quite, I don't know, comforting that you're both still working together with these animals and to see what happened today.
I think, yeah, today is about celebrating some successes because they can be few and far between in this business. You know, Tandy was poached almost a decade
10 years,
ago.
2nd of March 2012.
Yeah, almost a decade ago. And what has happened, how she's inspired people all over the world from this location, how her offspring have just been an amazing story. She's allowed us to tell the gory brutality of rhino because she survived and because she's had babies. We've been able to include that, which I think is important for people to realize that this is a ghastly, horrific business that we are at the sharp end of. And we can't do what we're doing without the support of many people. Tonight, I think I want to celebrate Helping Rhinos for all that Simon and his team have done. It's been a fantastic relationship. He was also inspired by those early days of Tandy. And what is emerging out of that now, I think, just is heartwarming. It's inspirational for us, and we have a chance to actually demonstrate success here, which is very, very important not only for funders but also for us on the ground.
Well, I have to thank you both as well, because Tandy wouldn't be here, we all wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the work that you both have done. So honestly, I take my hat off to you if I was wearing one. You do such amazing work, so thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you,
been
Meg.
so wonderful to have you here also, Meg. Yeah, thank you.
Well, Simon, as per normal with any Helping Rhinos charity event, I have some great lots to sell. And lot 3 is with Dr. William Fold himself, which I'm so excited about. Can you expand a little bit more about just how amazing that lot is?
It really is going to be incredible. Having been there for that, when that last film was made, and you get up sort of at the crack of dawn, first thing in the morning, because you can't take those operations on rhinos in the heat of the day. You need to keep them cool, as we saw in the film. So you get up really early, and then there's the excitement and the adrenaline of what the day is going to bring. And there's always a little bit of apprehension, as Will talked about there as well.
Yeah.
You've got to expect the unexpected. So it's going to be an amazing experience for whoever is lucky enough to go on that safari, and including the day with Will. It's something, I think, it's not your everyday safari. You can't go and book a safari, either direct or a travel agent, that includes going out with Dr. Will Folds and doing a procedure on a rhino. It really is sort of a once in a lifetime experience. I mean, people talk about bucket lists, but I think it's even, I don't know what the next thing about bucket list is, but it's definitely on that, whatever that list is. So.
And what about the other two? Safari lots that we've got.
So the other two, I mean the other one, so one of the other ones that's again linked to there, so where we just saw that procedure was on the Kareka Game Reserve. That's where Tandy lives, and that's where obviously Colin, we moved from one part to another part too. So we have, our lot 6 is an amazing safari, 6 nights in 2 different lodges on the Kareka Game Reserve. You'll get the opportunity to go and see Tandy and her family. We always have to say the opportunity. Tandy's very good. She's always out and about, except when we were there in February. She didn't show herself until the sun was just setting as we left. But so you have that experience, and hopefully the opportunity to go and see Colin in his new crash as well.
Now you mentioned you've just been out, but you haven't been out for a good couple of years because of COVID?
Yeah, I mean, I normally go out 2 or 3 times a year at least, just to make sure we as an international NGO are up to date with what's going on the ground, and we're supporting our partners on the ground. So it was really tough, I have to say, over 2 years away. And I can honestly say I didn't really realise how tough it was until I was back again, and suddenly you're there and you're looking at rhinos roaming through the bush in their natural habitat and thinking, man, it's just a great reminder of why it's so important that we do what we do, and why I set up Helping Rhinos in the first place, because we need to make sure that they're here, as I was saying earlier. We need to make sure that they're here for future generations to be able to go and have that type of experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what have we got next?
So next, John T, we have another film coming up with another one of our partners, and this one I'm quite excited to share with everyone. So this is I went out and spent time once again with the Black Mambas, who are the all-female anti-poaching unit based in the Kruger, in the Greater Kruger National Park in South Africa. And they're an amazing bunch of women. There's 36 women, and it's the story of how we've taken one of the most underused resources in ladies from the local communities and empowered them to be a key part of conservation. I think is it's such an inspiring story in itself, and then we see what's bred out of that, which is their education outreach program, the Bush Babies, and you'll meet on the film Luane, who is such an infectious character. I think everyone's going to fall in love with her as well. So let's see what the Black Mambas and the Bush Babies got up to when I was out there in February.
You'll enjoy this one.
It was a theory, it was hypothetical. We knew that we couldn't throw the usual old rusty tools at the same old problem time and time again. We knew that we're not going to shoot this problem away because it's been tried many times in the past. We needed a sort of multi-pronged strategy to address this, and something that's going to perpetuate into the future. We're trying to create role models in the communities. As those children grow up, Their only role model will be the poacher. His only skill set is dodging the law and carrying a gun, killing wild animals to get what he wants. That's not the role model that we're looking for.
I want to be one of the protectors. I want to protect the wildlife. They can't fight for themselves. We have to fight for them. We have to protect them.
The animals and nature, it's our heritage. If people don't protect the animals, or us the black mambas don't protect these animals, in near future we will not be having animals, not rhinos only, but all the animals in the reserve. I felt that I need to do something. I have to take part protecting the animals. So when I started working as a black mamba, I was so scared and my family was so scared. You are going to be eaten by lions. Maybe they are right. What if I go there and never come back to see my kid and my family? Maybe I should just leave it. I said to myself, if I don't do it, who is going to do it? The animals do want people to protect them. They can't protect themselves. So I have to take part in this and save the animals. I see these animals as my kids because I'm protecting them. I'm like a mother to them, same as my kids. So my kids have to share mother's love with these animals.
The black mambas are the single biggest window for that community into the national park system, where you can generate that environmental patriotism.
I would like to see black mambas anti-poaching growing. I would like to see this female project growing bigger and bigger every day.
My name is Liwayne Maifala and I am the Bush Babies Environmental Education Program Coordinator and Manager. The Bush Babies is part of the Black Mambas program because we are a very important link to the kind of work that they do, where we liaisoning with the communities through education. So we have had more than 12,000 kids that have been through the program since 2015 when the program started. How we educate the kids is that we go to the schools and then we take the kids, we basically do the theory in school, and then we take the kids into the reserves where they actually do the practicals and they can engage with these wildlife in the natural environment. We also take the black mambas that they can come and educate the kids on the anti-poaching. So the Bush Babies program has been well received in the local communities. I think it's because of the results that we are yielding. You know, the kids' behavior has changed. The kids are now learning in new subjects, and just the whole program in its own, it's giving back to the communities and engaging with the community. It's been a positive results that we've seen. So we needed to engage with the communities. And when we got to these communities, we found that lots of children were living with their grannies, and then we had to engage with the grannies. That's how the Bush Grannies program started. Okay, so we are here today with the Bush Grannies, who happens to be a male, because we also need the males to give us our guidance, given the cultural history. So here we have Mr. Mashele, who is into farming, and then we have selected him because of his farming knowledge that he can instill in us, and then we can take that to the kids. Today he'll be teaching us how to grow or how to plant spinach from its seed, and then we'll monitor how it grows over the long-term period. So engaging with the Bush Babies and the Bush Grannies will help in the protection of our wildlife and the nature reserves, because they get exposed. You know, we come here and we give them the knowledge. We're not dictating to the people that you mustn't do this. We let them to take responsibility. You know, we try and incorporate the social and the physical, economical benefits and importance of these Same with the rhinos. If we can't protect our rhino species, how will we then be able to get an income from the tourism industry? What excites me about being the Bush Babies program coordinator is having to wake up in the morning and know that I will be the change that I want to see. Having to come to work, you know, when you know that whatever I'll be doing today, it's going to be about change, it's going to bring change to somebody. My highlight over the 7 years that we have been here on the program is obviously the growth in the program. You know, it started off with 3 schools and now we have 10 primary schools. We even have developed, we've got the Scouts now, the program that the kids are learning in. We've got a resource center. It's not just the one, you know, it's everything all together, and I obviously can give myself a pat on the shoulder and say, well done.
Wow, quite inspirational, eh? And I don't know if you noticed that when they were digging in the garden with the fork only had 3 prongs. It was one missing. There's so much money to raise for. There's so much that we need to give these people to help themselves. So the QR code's in the corner there. That's a direct link to the auction where we will be selling. There's the free prize draw as well, which will be closing at 7:30. So there's still time. Next video, the next film is after filming with the Black Mambas and the Bush Babies. Simon caught up with Craig and Luane.
So Craig, that was fascinating what we've just seen about the Black Mambas. I mean, tell me a bit more about how your thought process went to set them up in the first place.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. And it's really nice to have you back in camp again, despite COVID and what have you. So the Mambas started about 10 years ago, you know, when the rhino poaching crisis was really starting to impact us on the landscape, and we thought we needed a different set of tools in our toolbox, because this is becoming almost cyclical. You know, we just seem to go through these poaching crises, you know, every 5 years or so. So things have changed on the landscape as well. There's cell phone coverage, there's road networks, there's huge tourism interventions, the civil wars on our borders, everything had changed. Socio-political changes, socio-economic changes, international political pressures, you know. So if you put that all into a box, we realize that the old mechanism of dusting off your old army uniform and, you know, polishing your old army gun and rushing out there to try and shoot the problem off the landscape, those days are over. You know, you can't just rely on that one tool in your toolbox. We needed something more diverse. We needed to invest, something that was going to grow and see a big return in the future. A multi-generational investment, in other words, and hence the fact that we targeted the young women in the community.
Okay, and how successful? I mean, we've seen from or heard from Colette and from Felicia. So, how successful do you think it's been? I mean, you could call it a little bit of fatherly bias, if you wish, but you know, if I had to put my clinical hat on, I would say it's far exceeded our expectations. Because what we didn't realize is how much of an impact it was going to have on the lives of the people inside the communities, to establish role models, to try and break that Robin Hood ethos where the poachers are the heroes kind of thing. But now we've got these young women who are raising families and living in nice houses and what have you, with a proper moral compass, and they have become the heroes in the community. You know, and it's rippled through the children, so it's become a multi-generational investment. Yeah. We didn't realize, you know, we were all about protecting the rhinos on the landscape, patrolling all night, sitting with the rhinos, babysitting them, listening for gunshots, chasing around, and then slowly our eyes were opened, and particularly by my colleague over here, Luane, to say, you know, only half of their job is actually inside the bush on the landscape protecting the wildlife, but they can do that twice as well if they're actually at home with the kids. And if you're targeting the kids at school and creating those role models and just being a shining light of hope for people. People turn around, especially during the COVID, and they say, how come they've still got a job, and how come they're still buying nice food and, you know, providing for their family and what have you, when everybody else lost their jobs? It's because they work to protect wildlife. So Luane, that was, I mean, Craig mentioned there, and we've seen you at work in the classroom and in the gardens and everything. So what is it you think is so important around that engagement? I guess just picking up on what Craig said, there's more than what just goes on in the reserve. What is it you think is so important in terms of in the communities and how we engage them?
I think it's very much important. What now?
Yeah, carry on.
I think it's very much important because I always have this idea of a three-legged pot, where we've got the reserve as this pot and we're brewing some magical things inside, which is obviously having a good relationship with our reserves, with the education leg as one, the law enforcement, the Black Mambas, and the research as Transfrontier Africa. Without any of those legs, the pot is not going to stand. So we are actually depending on each other to fully function within the reserve, where we're creating this beautiful landscape.
And do you see that enthusiasm? Have you seen the enthusiasm grow over the years of the Bush Babies?
Of course, we've seen it grow. We came into the community where people didn't even know what to do, and now whenever there's a snake in somebody's house, we're not snake handlers, but when there's a snake, they know they can come to us and say, please help us with the snake.
Okay, and what I guess, in the years you've been going, which is about the same as us at Helping Rhinos, what would you say is the biggest accomplishment for the Black Mambas and the Bush Babies?
Yeah, I would like to say the growth that we've seen. Where we started with 6 young women from the community on a small piece of landscape, and now they've spread out all over, and we've targeted 3 different tribal communities now. So the Mambas have been sourced from all over the show. All the target communities right on our boundaries. The Bush Babies has grown from strength to strength. It's no longer just a community outreach program, but it's an adult education program. It's a scout program. It's just got so many tendrils. A food security program. It's got its own resource center. I'm stealing your thunder here because this is all the Wayne's work that I'm taking credit for. But it's the expansion, it's the growth that we've seen, and it's just grown spontaneously through partnerships with Helping Rhinos.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for everything that you do and continue to do, and I look forward to working with you over many years to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. To another 10 years.
Indeed.
Hey? Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Wow, what an amazing man, what an amazing team of people.
Yeah,
quite extraordinary. And it's so sort of like joined up thinking. That's what I'm so impressed by.
Yeah, it really is. Taking such an innovative approach of, as I mentioned earlier, sort of one of the biggest underused resources in Africa is the women in the local communities who traditionally stay at home and raise the kids, look after, the men go out to work. So, I think, Craig's idea of trying to utilise these women and bring them into the world of conservation, and I've known some of these Black Mamba ladies for 10 years now, and to see their personal growth from when they first started to their levels of passion and commitment and dedication now. I mean, a lot of these women have children, and they're working for 20 solid days without seeing their families. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
So I think it's, excuse me. So I think to take, have that foresight and make it work, and it's now being copied elsewhere. We're seeing more and more women getting involved. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gentlemen, I've got to let you in a little secret. This time last week, Simon had COVID. He's now free. Thank goodness. He's now coughing in the corner here.
But I have a cough. Apologies.
But he's here, and he could not miss this for the world. So we're very grateful that he's here, and without any signs of
lots of negative tests.
Negative tests is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, so we're very grateful that you're here, Simon. So where are we going to next?
So next we are going to Zululand, in fact, to look at our project pilot out there, the Zululand Conservation Trust. As I mentioned in my introduction, they've got a school out there which we've just built along with the Save a Child Foundation. Mm-hmm. And as you'll see in this next film, we were there at the opening for this school, and the local Zulu king came along, so as well as 6 local chiefs. So that was fascinating and really hits home the importance of engaging and working with the local people, because that's our long-term success to conservation. Taking the local communities, making sure that conservation and their livelihoods are interlinked, and I think that's what we've done with this school. So I'm fascinated to share it with everyone. People have often said to me, why are you building a school? What's that got to do with helping rhinos?
Well, it's education. It's education.
You'll see it. You'll see it. And then, you know, one of the other projects there is the Zululand Rhino Orphanage, and we'll go in behind the scenes with Leko and Simone, who's his carer, and they're adorable.
Let's take a look.
I've just always had a passion and love for animals and wildlife. A lot of it obviously encouraged by my parents, etc. And when I got to sort of high school, I decided that I definitely want to live a wild life. Our pangolin rehabilitation program is purely funded by the Zululand Conservation Trust. The wild dog program, all of the costs associated with collars and veterinary, etc. Obviously all of the rhino protection and work that goes into monitoring and management. The fight we fight for rhinos is frustrating because we can only do so much. Most of the state-owned parks, the population are in decline, and in rapid decline, because the poaching rate is maybe slowing down, but it's also because there's so few rhino in the wild anymore. So we really do need the world to stand up and say enough is enough. We've taken enough, we've killed enough, and change everything, really. One of the exciting projects that we're working on now is focusing a lot of our efforts into not just rhino protection and monitoring, etc., but expanding land for rhino. And we're working very closely with helping rhinos portions of land that we can incorporate into the park and obviously add on space for rhino, taking our efforts beyond just the boundaries of the reserve. And all of the resources that get invested in rhino also have consequently a large number of other species that benefit from it as a result. We also do a lot of work with the local communities, absolute critical part in terms of the long-term sustainability of the park. So getting people passionate about the natural world and protecting animals, I think, is critical. So we try and do a lot of that, and as much as we can, and especially starting it from a very, very young age.
Today is going to be a very, very exciting day to everyone. Like, we're opening this Pigman school. It'll take like 6 months to build. We've got to have Nkosi Zulu, a leader of the community, and the donors, and the guy that helped us to build the schools from England.
So, we say thank you.
Pigman is a very good school for the young kids. I think everyone around the community is going to be saying, yeah, now we got that school that we're looking for. I think Pigman School is going to be in future changing a lot of people's minds, like that kids from, we're going to start today with them. They're going to see how it's important to have a reserve or conservation around them. And I think when they get older, they're going to teach some that are coming back to Pigman to learn. It's very, very important to start educating the young children about the conservation, because in future, we really not to run outside to tell people why don't do this, because we're starting teaching them about the conservation in the young stage, so that in 15 years coming, I'm going to say, no, I will protect that conservation, because I started to learn as a young person and until now, and it's still there.
So at the orphanage we look after injured or orphaned rhino calves that have been orphaned out in the wild, either due to their mothers being poached or injured, naturally dying. We teach them how to be rhinos so that they can live out in the wild again one day. When they're little babies, it involves being with them 24 hours a day, giving them lots of love and care and attention, because they would be with their mom, you know, out in the wild for 2 to 3 years. You can imagine spending so much time with a rhino calf. You get very attached, especially with Leko, because he's my very first baby from day one. So I'm very attached to him, but I still feel excited for his future in the wild, because that's where he needs to be. The circumstances that get them to come here are often very sad, and they do make me very angry and very upset that things like that happen. Honestly, I have no idea what the future holds for rhinos. Yeah, it makes me emotional actually, because, yeah, sorry. Since working at the Zululand Rhino Orphanage, especially with Leko, he's really touched my heart. And yeah, I don't know what the future holds. I don't think it's a good future, but I think we need to do everything that we can to try and save them, because they're very special and we need to help them.
Pretty moving stuff, eh? And it just shows you just the importance of building schools to give the likes of Lekos a future. So it's all about joined up thinking, which is what we've just seen. Megan caught up with Karen, Simone and Stembiso and just talked with them a little bit more about the day.
What really struck me, I have to say, Simone, is your relationship with Leko. It's something that a lot of us don't get to experience, being up close to an animal like that and having that kind of bond. And when he was brought in on day one, I suppose that was quite a significant moment for you. So tell me exactly how that felt, seeing him for the first time.
So seeing Leko for the first time was really emotional, like this tiny little baby that can't do anything for itself. And it's really sad because he had to be, you know, taken away from his mom in order to save him. So it's a whole mix of emotions. But yeah, being with him from day one and spending so much time with him, we have built an incredible bond. And it even surprised me that I could bond and a rhino could bond with me so closely. Yeah,
it's amazing, isn't it? Because he is one of the lucky ones in many ways, but even saying that, it feels a little bit odd because of course he should be out in the wild, so it's kind of this catch-22, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, he is unlucky because of what happened to him, but he is very lucky that he has this second chance, basically. And yeah, I really hope that he will continue to do well and be released one day, because that will be like such an amazing end to the story for me.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to see that and honestly see how his journey goes. But I mean, Karen, rhinos like him are fundamental, all orphanages, I assume, for the bigger picture for game reserves around South Africa. So when Leko's ready to be released, what kind of impact will that have on rhino populations?
Well, I think it's critical that the orphaned animals are rehabilitated and form part of the wild population, because then we are turning a really big tragedy into a success story. And for parks like us, having a facility where we can send orphaned animals is such a gives us so much peace of mind. You know, we don't have the capacity to deal with, you know, 3-4 day old rhino calf and then getting it to a point where it can be rehabilitated. You know, we've got anti-poaching units and all of the other park management things to deal with. So having a facility where we can send animals to and know that they're going to get them to a point where they can, we'll sort of take them back again and put them back into the wild is amazing peace of mind, and it's critical for every rhino counts right now, every single animal counts, and these success stories is just absolutely amazing, and it's just little wins that we can enjoy amongst a big battle that's around the rhino poaching crisis.
I don't think people at home, and I certainly didn't either, kind of realise how much goes into protecting these animals, both kind of with the resources, but also kind of the emotional worry, I suppose, that surrounds it.
Yes, yeah, it's like Simone says, it's quite tragic and very emotional dealing with an orphaned calf and knowing that animal is now not going to have a mum to look after him. And then on the other side, obviously, it's the stress and worry that goes around keeping wild rhinos safe, potential animals getting wounded or killed by poachers. So yes, it's a very emotional roller coaster, everything that goes around rhino protection, and it is because we are so passionate about what we do, and it's heart and soul stuff for us. So I guess we get affected more than most, and also because we're so close to it.
Yeah, I mean that comes across really well, how connected and kind of passionate you are. I mean, just going along the reserve and seeing all the animals that you're looking after, it was amazing to go and see the pangolin and the wild dogs and everything. But that pangolin experience for me is something pretty special because you don't often get to see them out in the daylight. So yes. What's Stevie's story and background?
So Stevie, so we work closely with the Joburg Veterinary Hospital and the African Pangolin Working Group, and their focus is to get pangolins or rescue pangolins from the illegal trade. They'll obviously go to the hospital where they will look after them. The animals, when they get confiscated from the trade, are dehydrated, they're in very poor condition, so they'll sort of nurse them back to health, and then they hand them over to us. And then it's our responsibility to put them in, we call it a soft release program, and that's where Stevie came in. He was on about 4.5 kilos, and we try and get them to at least 6.5 kilos before we'll consider release. So he'll go out every afternoon and walk him. You can't put a bowl of food in front of the pangolin and expect him to eat. So we'll take him for a walk, normally 3-4 hours every afternoon, where he'll feed on termites and ants, etc. And then we'll do that until he's getting to a weight where he's heavy enough for us to release. And then we'll put some monitoring tags on him so we can obviously follow his progress after that. And it is amazing because we haven't had pangolins here for over 80 years in northern KZN. They've been sort of locally extinct. And now being able to reintroduce a species that used to be here is incredible. And we're hoping that in years to come we'll have lots of a stable population of pangolins in the area. So it's rewarding as well.
It's super exciting, and the work that you both do to go towards endangered species, whether it be rhinos or pangolins or everything else that's here, honestly, I take my hat off to you. You do such important work. So thank you so much for everything. It's really been great.
Oh, pleasure. I'm happy to show you around and for you guys to see a little bit of what we do.
It's been great. We'll be coming back all the time.
Yeah, like it's now, like today, I think it's been a very, very big day for everyone around the community. Everyone looking forward, gonna see Speakman that can help us to build that school, and then go see Dinduna. Everyone, the leaders of the community, is gonna be around, and I think gonna be a big day today.
And what, in terms of the education for the children, what subjects are going to be, what's the first lesson that's going to be taught?
Yeah, it's like we're running short of schools here around, and now we have a school for the young kids, and then we got a more educated kid, like you're gonna see we got some pictures inside we write it for to know it's just a rhino, that is what to see, so that it can understand when to coming to the reserve helping us, why they are helping us, to see, because now we didn't know have people outside the reserve that want to teach the people about the conservation that we have inside the reserve.
Yeah, and it's fundamental, isn't it? Bringing in the local community into reserves like this. It's so important that people have ownership of what's happening here and feel included. So, I mean, I guess the school goes a long way in achieving that.
Yeah, the school gonna do a lot, help a lot, like everyone like young kids from grade R up to grade 12 maybe can see now conservation is very, very important to them, because when they're keeping on touching things, something wrong in the reserve, and then say, no, I'm going to go out and teach him about it, and then now they're starting to understand why we have conservation in the reserve, and then why we're trying to build that relationship between the reserve and the community. So I think now it's going to be very, very helpful.
What was your education like when you were their age? Because you're so into conservation and everything, you must have had so many experiences when you were young as well.
Yeah, it's going to be like my experience that I have now. Like I need to teach someone else about the conversation, and I need to make sure I protect what we see it's wrong, and then I need to change that thought from the people that are going to do anything about the reserve, because we're not in charge. But now I think everyone can see it. Yeah, it's going to be nice to them to understand, and then I think we're going to keep on carrying on trying to teach some people about it. Yeah.
I honestly think that the work that you do in the community is one of, if not the most important thing in terms of kind of protecting natural spaces. So I'm really excited to see how this school goes down the line, and all the kids that come out probably very inspired by you and everything that happens.
Yeah, by my side, it's very, very important to be here. Like I can't do it by the first time, but now I see, I can achieve some goals with people. I can change his thought, everything. So yeah, to me it's gonna be a big day today. Like everyone maybe cannot be excited to our semi, so good. Thank you for everything that we've done for is
it's gonna be great.
Great day. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you a lot.
Well, Simon, I hear you've got some news to tell us. News straight hot off the press.
It is news hot off the press, John T. So, I mean, firstly, what a fascinating film. I hope everyone really enjoyed seeing the school and Lecco as well. And when we filmed that in February, then Lecco was the only orphan we had at the orphanage, which is good and bad news, you know. So it's good news because all the other orphans actually we've released back out into the wild, which is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But since we filmed, we've had 2 more orphans have come in, so Tweed and Tinny. Don't ask me about the names. They're chosen by the owners of the reserves where they were rescued from.
Okay.
But Tweed and Tinny have come in, and they're doing amazingly well, and they are bonding very well. Tweed came in first, so he's bonded really well with Lecco, and that was really important. That Lecco actually, we saw the goat there, Dorothy, but it was really important that he gets a rhino to bond with as well. But the really hot off of the news press is, as well as Tweed and Tinny, in the last 48 hours we've taken in 2 more rhino orphans as well. It's very early days yet. We wouldn't normally make any sort of public statement this early. We need to make sure that they pull through.
Yeah.
But so it's good news and bad news. It's good news because we're finding the babies and we're rescuing them, and they're going to get a chance for a life back in the wild. The sad news, of course, is that we've got 4 more rhino orphans that have needed to be rescued because their mums have fallen victim to poaching. So
well, yeah, as we see in the film, it's a second chance, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we're giving them.
It is. Yeah. They get a second chance. They're very cute. It's lovely to see them. I have to say, when we were there with Lecco, he might be really quite small for a rhino, but you've got to be so careful. He's stronger than you could imagine. But I think what it does do is really hit home the fact that we haven't yet got on top of this poaching crisis. Yes, the numbers are going down. As Cara mentioned in the film, as much that's because yes, there have been good results to the work that we've been doing over the last 10 to 15 years, but also the population is going down as well. And as we see, there is still a real problem. Rhinos are being poached. So these facilities like this is essential that every rhino really does count, and we have to give every rhino a chance in the future.
Which takes us on, because one lucky viewer, and it could be you, could be the winner of meeting Lecco and all the other new orphans as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's in our prize draw. We mentioned it before, unashamedly, we're going to mention it again.
And there's the QR code. You can just see it in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
There
so if you've got your phone, if you're watching on your tablet or a computer or even your TV, then just hold your phone, take the camera out of your phone, open the camera, pointed at that QR code in the bottom left-hand, I think it's bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and it will open up on a browser in terms of the prize draw, and it's very simple. You just click how many entries you like. You can enter as many times as you like. So the more times you enter, the more chance you've got of going on this amazing 4-day safari and going to behind the scenes at the orphanage to meet Leko and, as you say, the other new orphans as well. As I said, many times you can enter as you want. The more times you enter, the more chance you've got of winning. But perhaps more importantly, the more times you enter, the more you're helping Leko and the other rhino orphans there as well.
Absolutely.
So it's a fantastic opportunity. I can't even begin to describe what it's like when you meet these little babies for the first time and see them taking their milk and hearing them crying as well. You know, these rhino babies make this sort of crying noise, sort of oh noise, and that's them asking for milk often. So you kind of get to see that as well. It'll be a fascinating experience, and not only that, the sort of long-time supporters and followers of Helping Rhinos will know that we actually have 2 hippos there as well, Charlie and Moomin, who are quite grown up now, but you will hopefully get the opportunity to meet Charlie and Moomin as well. And Charlie is such a character, he's very popular with our supporters. So believe me, it's £10 worth spending, and dare I say £20, £30, £40, £50, £100 even. Why not give yourself 10 chances to win, because it really will be worth it. And when else could you get to go on safari for as little as £10?
And the odds are a lot better than doing the lottery. So have a go. You're winning both ways. You're giving to the rhinos, as well as your opportunity to go out and see them as well. So, so we have approximately just over 15 minutes. Then we'll be closing. We'll be doing the draw, and we will be announcing the winner live.
We will be announcing the winner live at about 7:30. The draw closes, so we'll just after that we'll draw the winner and announce who the lucky person is.
Yeah. Okay. So what, entertainment time now?
Absolutely. Yes. So next we have some entertainment from the Luambosh Choir. So Luambosh is actually a lodge on the Amakhala Game Reserve, and it's the lodge of the Folds family. So you saw Dr. William Folds earlier. So his family, parents still live on Luambosh, and this is some of the workers and the staff at Luambosh doing what they love to do most, which is little singing and dancing. So enjoy.
Emmanuel.
He's still going.
Hi, isn't that fun?
Amazing.
It just takes me back to being at Lowenbosch, seeing there's people there, and you notice the guy with the vest on at the end. His name is Aboot.
You can hardly miss him.
You could, and he's your guide. So we talked earlier about going on safari with Dr. Folds and all of that, and then you'd be staying at Lowenbosch on the Amakhala Game Reserve. So outside of the procedure with Will, your game drives will more likely be Aboot will be your driver, and he's the loveliest guy. He's amazing. So that was really nice to see.
Isn't it great for them just to do that? Sort of inspirational. It's wonderful.
They kind of love the singing and dancing, and they will encourage take a part in it. It's great, great fun.
So we've heard the singing. Where to next?
So where are we going next? Next we are going back to the Eastern Cape again. And we're going to go on patrol with our Eyes in the Sky pilot, Siseko, and see what's involved. We kind of looked at the Black Mambas with boots on the ground, and now it's kind of eyes in the sky. So let's see what's involved there. And we're also going to hear next from Dr. Lisa Graham around the importance of accurate data capture and how that is driving effective conservation strategies going forward, and actually conservation ecological strategies going forward. So this is, and I should say, stay tuned for a twist at the end as well.
When I started working with Dr. Folds, we got called out to a rhino that was poached, and it must have been the worst experience, the worst thing I've ever seen. And yeah, I think after that, I told myself I have to do something to help these animals. Like, I cannot see another animal in that similar situation. Growing up here, I had no idea if it's possible for someone like me to fly a plane. I'm from a disadvantaged background growing up here, and my parents couldn't afford to send me. We were working with Dr. Folds. We did a lot of flying in a helicopter, and I loved it. It just put a smile on my face. The pilot, he had a school in Port Elizabeth, and he said, well, I can see that you are passionate about flying, so if you want, I can find a way to get you to get a license. And so I did work part-time for him, and 5 years later, I got my commercial pilot's license. With nature conservation, I felt where I was, I didn't feel like I was doing much. So when the pilot thing came, I feel like I'm contributing more. We've got a team on the ground already, but from the air you see a lot more, and it's quicker from the air. It's a big deterrence as well. If there are poachers around, the presence alone, I think it's enough to scare poachers. I mean, without helping rhinos, this will be impossible to do. I mean, it's, as you know, like, nothing is cheap in aviation. It's not a cheap exercise to run and maintain this aircraft. And helping rhinos, they're funding the whole project. So very grateful to them. I love what I do. I mean, you wake up every day, you see the big fire flying around, and I think you can't beat that. It's pretty cool. When I'm flying, I carry a device. So what you do is when I see a rhino, let's log it, identify it, and I get a GPS point for it, and then send it to anti-poaching team.
We're working with 2 main digital platforms at the moment to help monitor the animals and landscapes in this area. And one of those is Earth Ranger, which is a live visualization of everything that's going on your reserve. We build it so that they have their own map there, and they will be able to see all the information popping up from any trackers that they have. Some of the things that it enables us to do at the moment is to have alerts sent to the guys out in the field to say, okay, look, your fence sensor has detected that the fence has been cut in this location, or they might find some snares that have been laid down, or suspicious spoor or footprints, and then he can send a team out. Unfortunately, we're at a point that in order to protect these animals, you really do have to kind of guard them, and you have to be aware of what's going on in the environment around them. And so this kind of conservation technology really can act as a force multiplier, and something that enables them to have that kind of information at their fingertips is really going to put power in their pockets when it comes to looking after the animals and the landscapes that they're working to protect. Support from Helping Rhinos has been invaluable. It's very much allowed us to support these separate reserves in enabling them to get onto these platforms, to better use their resources, to be able to record what's going out on their reserves. I always grew up loving animals and wildlife. I think first came to the African continent when I was about 16. Fell in love with the country, the people, the wildlife, and to me it was kind of the epitome of wild, and I realised how important it is for us to protect that. I moved out here in 2017, and I wouldn't have thought that 5 years down the line I'm here, met somebody, got married, we have a baby together, and we're both working in conservation. So I think if you told that to younger me, I would have said, no, that's too much like living the dream. I'm very lucky. Yeah, we got married in November 2020. And then we had Sadie. She was born in August last year, 21.
She's probably the best thing that ever happened to us, and yeah, we just want what's best for her, and yeah.
It makes everything that bit more special when you start to see things through her eyes or her future eyes, and you think, you know, we want her to be able to see these animals and these spaces as they are, or even more restored. So yeah, definitely puts a new spin on things. I hope that she has the same love for it and wants to protect it, and that it's here for her to love and protect.
Aha, you were right.
Hey.
There was a surprise.
Was a surprise.
I think we've had our fair share of cuteness on tonight, haven't we?
I think we've had a bit of an overload of cuteness, Jonty, if I'm honest. With
Absolutely.
Leko and little Sadie.
Absolutely lovely. So Megan caught up with Lisa, Siseko and Sadie, and this is what they had to say.
Lisa, Siseko, I mean, you guys have been working with rhinos now for quite a few years. It must be quite a rewarding experience getting to go out and see them and protect them as well.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to see rhino, and I think working with them never gets old. Very much a privilege, and yeah, it's awesome to be able to try and work to protect them, and hope that she'll be seeing them one day.
Yeah, a big hope for the future then. I mean, do you think forward to Sadie's future and think about what she might be seeing?
Absolutely. I mean, both parents love rhinos, and yeah, I think she's going to be forced to love them.
Doesn't have much choice in the matter.
Yeah.
What's it like then? Because I obviously, from the UK, I hear the news about when rhino poachings happen, and you see the horrific photographs, and it's devastating to see visually, digitally, but like being on the ground here, how does it feel when you get a call like that come in? It must be quite shocking, I suppose.
Yeah, it is very sad. I mean, like, I love flying, but sadly when you get that call that you need to come fly, it means that either a rhino is down or... So, yeah, it's a bittersweet because I love flying, but I know, like, obviously I get excited if I see that a rhino is alive, but yeah, there's always that thought that you'll get there and the rhino has been poached. So, yeah, it is sad. I've seen a couple of rhino scenes, and yeah, it's not nice.
How do you manage that?
it's tough. It's tough, but I think you keep working, and you know, like the bit that you're doing, you hope that the bit that you're doing that you're protecting more in like down the line.
You just gotta hope that what you're doing is helping. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when that pull comes through, your blood goes cold, your heart sinks. Like bracing yourselves for what you're about to see. Yeah, I think it takes a few days if you see, you know, the worst case scenario, and you know, busy doing postmortems or something like that, and you just go into work mode, and then I think a few days later something little will set you off, and then the emotions come. Yeah, but I mean, we haven't luckily been exposed to anywhere near as many as some people working out there with Rhino, and the PTSD that comes from it, I think it's amazing these guys are still doing what they're doing.
Well, it's brilliant. It's so important to have hope, and I guess Sadie's kind of a vision of that hope as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We try our best to save a couple so she can see them one day.
Yeah, we hope, and the landscapes as well, you know, we hope that by the time she's old enough to appreciate it, that there's a lot more wild spaces available for her to roam and see these animals roam in. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a bright future, and what a way to grow up. I have to say, I'm slightly envious.
So nice.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, well, thank you so much for the work that you both do, because it's utterly, utterly incredible, and yeah, you're doing such a fantastic thing. So thank you both so much.
Thank you very much.
Wow, what a lovely story. Yeah. And what a cutie pie Sadie is.
I know, exactly.
In fact, I noticed she was looking up into the sky. I think she might be a pilot too.
Well, she's got it in the genes.
So, we've got less than a couple of minutes now. We're going to close the prize draw. So you've got the QR code in the bottom of your screen there. This is your final moments to get registered for that prize draw. So we'll be drawing it, we'll be closing it literally in a minute or so. So get on now if you can, enter as many times as you would like, and see if you can win that amazing safari trip.
Cool. Well, I guess we're getting towards the end of the first part of the evening before we go into the auction. So I just really want to say that once again, thank you to everybody for tuning in and watching what we've put on tonight. I really hope you've enjoyed seeing just a flavour of what our work out in the field is, and how you have helped and are helping to make a difference on the ground. And while I talk about our partners on the ground, particularly those that we featured tonight, our South African partners, so African Rhino Conservation Collaboration, the Black Mambas and the Bush Babies, the Kareka Foundation, Zululand Conservation Trust and Zululand Rhino Orphanage. I just want to say a big thank you to them for continuing to work with us and be work so openly with us, and they kind of all opened their arms and gave us a great big welcome when we went out there with Megan to make these films. So a big thank you to our partners on the ground. We pride ourselves on those strong partner relationships. We put a lot of time and effort. We don't have realms of projects. We think it's a much better way to go to have a select number of partners that we work with, partners that we trust implicitly, and we continue to spend the money that you give to us, whether it's through auctions, donations, adoptions, regular standing orders or direct debits to us. We will continue, as we've done over the last decade, to spend your donations wisely and in the best possible way to make sure they really do have an impact in giving rhinos a future in their natural habitat, in what we will hope to see spreading across Africa, our rhino strongholds. I'm genuinely excited about that opportunity, and as a global conservation community, what the opportunities for us to really make a difference and leave a living legacy for rhinos and all of our wildlife. So as we've mentioned, Jonty, in a minute we're going to have the auction, but I think it's time to draw the prize draw. I think it's closed. Yeah. So I'm going to take the iPad from you. And let's have a quick look and see.
Quick reveal.
Quick reveal and see. Let's just make sure that it has closed first. I think it has. So I should be able to pick a winner at random by pressing a button here. winner chosen. And the winner is, are you ready? Who are we going to send on safari to Zululand to meet Leko and all of the other orphans?
Me.
The answer is Alison Ayres.
Wow. Congratulations, Alison. Wow.
So I don't know where Alison is actually in the, I believe she's in the UK somewhere. I don't know exactly really, but I think she's in the UK somewhere.
I can see her jumping up and down.
Well, I hope she's watching. Yeah, exactly. So Alison, if you are watching, congratulations. You're going on safari. You're going to meet Leko. And yes, we are both, I think, very jealous.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So Jonty, I'm going to leave stage right now, and and let's start the auction.
Great. Okay. Well, congratulations, Alison. That's really, really brilliant news. So I've got a few lots to sell now. Let me just put this down. Bear with me. Here we go. So we've obviously done the prize draw, but now is your opportunity to now bid for this amazing experience. So this, just to recap, is exclusive 4-night safari for 2 people to meet rhino orphans, Leko and Tweed. So this is a unique opportunity to meet Leko, the most recent rescued, which of course is Tweed, in the Zululand Rhino orphanages, a facility that is not open to the public. As well as meeting Leko and Tweed, you will enjoy a wonderful 4-night safari at a luxury Zululand Safari Lodge. Your safari experience will include 2 game drives each day on a big 5. Your stay will include transportation from the international airport and 3 meals each day, and soft drinks only included. For security reasons, the exact location of the Safari Lodge and Game Reserve will be shared with the winner after the draw or after this has taken place. So, bidding for this has to start at £5,000. Who will bid me £5,000 for this lot? There is a bit of a delay that goes on, so what you need to do is zoom in on your QR code, which is right here on your bottom part of your screen. Will give you a complete live link into this particular lot that you see here on the right of your screens here. So what we're going to do is also first of all show you a video just to show you just how exciting this lot is. Here we go. So, remember, this is 4-night safari for 2 people to meet the rhino orphans, Leko, Tweed, and others now, of course. So this is the Zulu Rhino Orphanage, as well as a 4-night safari at the luxury Zululand Safari Lodge. So this is so exciting, so amazing, that we have to start the bidding at £5,000. Is there any bid out there at £5,000? All you've got to do is zoom in on or take the image of the QR code. You are right in there to place your bids, live as we speak now. Is there anybody that would like to bid £5,000 for this experience? It's definitely worth it.
I would say don't let Alison be the only person to go and see Lecco.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't win in the prize draw, this is your only other chance, I guess I would say, to have that opportunity. That is a money can't buy safari. You can't go online and book the safari. So
Alison's got it for £10, but it's really worth, the true monetary value is £5,000, and that's what we're looking for now at £5,000. Is there anybody out there that wants to bid £5,000? £5,000, it absolutely has to be. It's an amazing experience and it could be yours. So it's yours right now if you want to bid. QR code is on your screens. All you have to do is put your smartphone over that. That'll take you straight through into the bidding platform, and then you can place your bid on your smartphone or on your tablet right now. So it's £5,000 that I'm looking for.
I guess we should also say, Jonty, if you're on a computer, you don't have to use the QR code. You can go to givergy.uk/room to roam. That will take you straight into our event page for tonight. You just click the live auctions tab on the left hand side.
Brilliant.
And
that's fantastic. Got a bid, £5,000. We're up and running. That's really exciting. At £5,000. That's Christy at £5,000. Thank you, Christy, for your bid. It's worth every penny. Who will bid me £5,500 now? £5,500 is the next bid. At £5,000 only at the moment. £5,000 only at the moment. £5,500 is the next bid. We've got a bit of a time lapse between you bidding and me seeing it. So I'm very, very happy to be patient here. In fact, I could wait all night for another £500. But it's £5,500 I'm looking for. At the moment, it's £5,000 for Christy at the moment. Is there anybody out there that wants to bid £5,500? Anybody out there? We're live across the world right now. This is sold to anybody who wants to bid at £5,500. Is there any bid at £5,000? I will sell, therefore, at £5,000. Are we happy to sell at £5,000? Yeah. Happy to sell at £5,000. Is there any further bid at £5,000? £5,500 will be the next bid that I will accept. But I'm happy to sell at £5,000. It's yours, Christy, at the moment. Any further bids? Sold. Christy, there you go.
Congratulations, Christy.
That's brilliant news. Congratulations. Excellent. Right, let's move swiftly on to the next lot. Wow, this is Rare of the Year. This is fantastic. I love this lot. Simon, have you got the image here? There's an extraordinary and exclusive, one of only two artworks by Rhino Lecco. This is an A3 size charcoal imprint. There we go. This is it. This is Lecco's bottom and tail. So if you see on the screen as well, you can see the image of Lecco's actual rear and the imprint. It's quite extraordinary. So this was done by the team of carers who spent hours creating an environment to create this artwork, ensuring that Lecco was not endangered in any shape or form, but it was part of his daily play and enrichment. So this is imprint of charcoal, and there were only ever 2 images created, and this is one of them. It's not signed by him as well, I have to say.
We tried. We tried.
I think it's absolutely wonderful, and he's now far too big to sit on the photocopier. So this is the image for you. So I have a bid already of £500. Who will bid me £600? Who will bid me £600? Any further bids? Because I will sell at £500. Is it £600? £600 I have now at £600. Is it £700? Is it £700 for anyone? £700. At £600. That sounds cheap. It's one of only 2 at £600. I will sell at £600. Anybody out there that wishes to bid more than £600? £700 should be the next bid. but £600 I'm happy to sell at £600 only for this imprint. Charcoal by Lecco himself. What an artist. What a beast. £600 at the moment. Is it £700 from anybody out there? We will send it to any part of the world. We don't mind. You've got the QR code on your screens right now. We got £650. £650. We have a bid now of £650. Thank you very much. At £650. £700 the next bid. £700 I'm looking for. Is anybody who would like to bid me £700? Is it £700? Am I selling to £700?
Well, let's wait. Yeah, let's give it.
And
just while we're waiting to see John.
At £650. At £650 only. It's £700 I'm looking for. £700. At the moment I will sell at £650. £700 new bidder. £700. Thank you very much. At £700. £700. I have a bid now at £700. £750 I'm looking for. At £750, whoever bids £650 is now £750 I'm looking for. Will you bid £750? It's £700 only. I think that's a bargain at £700. At £700 I will sell at £700. Is there any further bid at £700? I'm looking at my screens here at £700 only. £750 is the next bid. I will therefore sell at £700. Looking at my screens at £700. I'm selling therefore at £700. Any further bids? Sold! £700! That's absolutely brilliant. Congratulations. Fantastic.
Now, Jonty, before we move on, we have a decision to make.
A decision to make.
We do. So we have a there's a delay, as you know. So when we broadcast live, what you're actually seeing is about a 20-second delay between what you're watching and us actually talking.
So it's actually night time out here.
So it's actually night time, as you see there as well. So I believe after we closed lot 1 here, we did get another bid in. Is that right? Looking at the team down here. So we did get another bid of 5,200. So the question is what do we want to do with that? Do we want to open it up again?
At 5,002.
Is that right? Do we get 5,200? So can we make that? Do we make that bid active again?
We will have to. I'll tell you what we'll do. In fairness to the bidder who's bid £5,000 for this, if we give them some notice that we will sell that, we'll reopen that lot at the end.
Okay.
Okay. So I need to give notice to the successor, to Christy. Christy, if you hopefully you're watching, we've got a bid of 5,200 now that's come in. I will reopen that up at the end and give you a bit of time to reprocess that because we need to reopen that lot. Okay. So we'll move on.
So can we make lot 1 active again now? So can
we'll move on to lot 3. Okay. So this is another fantastic safari experience. And before we go any further, just take a look at this video. Wow, there you go. This is another amazing safari. So this is a safari for 2 at Lowenbosch Country House on the Amakhala Game Reserve. So this is a safari experience of a lifetime, one that will stay with you forever. the undoubted highlight of your trip will be the accompaniment of Dr. William Folds. So this is one we were talking about earlier, Simon. The world-renowned wildlife vet to observe the veterinary procedure on a rhino. Your experience will include fitting a tracker device to the rhino and carrying out a DNA ear notching. The activity may also have a dehorning, a process used by many reserves to help keep their rhino self from poaching. So this is your experience to work directly with the world-renowned Dr. William Folds that you've seen in the videos. This is a package that they themselves have put together for you right now to bid. So of course this is just experience, it's just not open to the general public at all. There's no way that you could buy this package. So this is just so exciting to offer this to you now. So in addition to joining Dr. Folds, you will enjoy a 4-night safari staying at Lowenbosch, a lodge owned by the Folds family. So this is such a personal experience, and you will have a trip of a lifetime if you are lucky enough to bid and win it. So where are we going with this? I have to start the bidding at £5,500. At £5,500. Is there anybody out there that wants to bid £5,500 for this trip? That is as low as I can take it, at £5,500. It's worth every penny to the person that really wants it. £5,500 for this trip with Dr. Folds. Just extraordinary. It's for 2 people. £5,500 is the bid that I'm looking for. Is there anybody out there that wishes to bid? I'm very patient because this is a great lot. QR codes on the screen, it takes you straight into the bidding platform. All you got to do is type in £5,500. It's yours at the moment. Is there anybody out there wishing to bid? It's a fabulous, fabulous experience at £5,500. Anybody out there wishing to bid at £5,500? At £5,500. Only at £5,500. No bids at the moment. We've got a bid. We've got a bid at 5,003. I will take 5,003. There's 5,003 on the tablet here. 5,003. So £5,500 is the bid that I will take. It's still £5,500 is the bid that you need to bid. I have a bid here at 5,300. I will take that now. So 5,500 is the bid that you will need to bid. Is anybody out there wishing to bid on this lot? Anybody out there at all at £5,500? It sounds a great, fabulous experience at £5,500 only.
Opportunity of a
amazing,
lifetime.
Absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing experience.
And in addition to spending the time with Will Folds, just the stuff outside of the money can't buy it, staying at Lowenbosch, you'll be able to go and have a drink before dinner with Will's dad, which is, I tell you, something that you need to experience in life. He is such a character. He tells stories like you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
So you'll have a fantastic time over and above just the money can't buy experience of being that close to a rhino. I mean, how many other times would you be able to be that close to put your hands on a rhino as you're going through that procedure?
So yours at £5,500. You've got to be quick. I will sell at 5,300. Looking at my screens, I'm looking here, looking across the room here at 5,300. I will sell at 5,300. Any further bids? It's sold at 5,300. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Next lot. Lot 4. This is just fantastic. Take a look at this video.
My name is Bruce Little. I am a bronze wildlife sculptor living in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. I was invited by Lindy Sutherland from the Kariega Private Game Reserve, and more specifically the Kariega Foundation. And I was invited to sculpt a rhino called Thandi. For those of you that don't know who Thandi is a female white rhino that was poached 10 years ago. She survived the ordeal and has gone on to produce 4 calves since the event. Absolutely wonderful success story. I had the privilege of spending time with Thandi in the bush. While I spent time with her, I observed her, I sketched her, I photographed her, and more importantly, I sculpted her from life, being able to capture every little detail, particularly around her face and the wound. Once I gathered that information, I brought the sculpture back into my home studio and completed the artwork there. My hope is that when this piece is auctioned off, is that it raises very much needed funds for rhino conservation and conservation as a whole, but more importantly that this is a catalyst of change. This piece is a catalyst of change. You know, I sculpt bronze sculptures and they are potentially will be on this earth for thousands of years, and I would like rhinos to be there in thousands of years, if not beyond that. You know, the scourge of rhino poaching can be overcome. So my broad message is this, that conservation and the preservation of wildlife and the habitat is not only the responsibility of the countries where these animals live, but it is the responsibility of each and every one of us, each and every individual that shares this planet with these wonderful creatures.
Now, Simon, I spend a lot of time in the art world, in the auction business, in the antique world, and contemporary art, but I'm completely moved by this bronze.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your experience of Thandi. How
Well,
important is Thandi in the whole world of helping rhinos?
Genuinely, I would say Thandi was one of the most famous rhinos still living in the world today. You know, she was one of the first that was really documented as surviving a poaching attack. It was on Kureka Game Reserve, so Colin was her second calf. So, you know, having survived that fateful night that we heard about in the films earlier, you know, it was just so moving. And as we saw earlier, because I'd spent time there, that really was, that poaching incident to Thandi was that final nail for me to do something around setting up helping rhinos. You know, we had to do something. So Thandi's a very special rhino to a lot of people, and has actually inspired a lot of movements in rhino conservation world that have even now sort of umbrellaed out into far more than just rhino conservation. You know, with range protection and range expansion and such like. So Thandi is an incredibly special rhino, and this is I think it's worth saying this is a one-off piece. That Bruce is sculpted this especially for Room to Roam. So it's not something he was doing anyway. You know, this is new. In fact, these images that you've just seen are not the finished article. He's still sculpting it.
He's still working on it now.
Still working on it now. Yeah. So I think we need to say a huge thank you to Bruce.
Yes.
You know, he really just wants to give something back. He also has been moved by, as you saw in his video there, you know, by visiting and seeing Thandi, and you know what an inspiration she is in terms of gone through that pain. You know, I genuinely think, as I think I said in one of the videos earlier, but you know, I genuinely think if a human goes through that level of pain and suffering, they just don't survive. So for her to have gone through that and had 4 calves, and her first calf has had a calf, so she's a grandma now. So I think this is a great opportunity. And then seeing that the horn that Bruce has put there as well is, you know, just what Thandi lost on that fateful night in March. I think it's a great opportunity for someone to have a piece that has so much meaning behind it.
So this is just not a bronze of a rhino, but this is a statement piece. And we've got a bid in already? £3,500. We've got a bid in at £3,500, which is extraordinarily cheap. And so this will be cast at a later date and of course shipped to you wherever you want to in the world. And as a symbol, Bruce has also created the horn as well, hasn't he? The replacement horn, which I think is indicative of everything that's gone in her life, and it's quite, again, it's another statement. So I think it also in that resting position as well. You know, it symbolises almost like her journey and you know how far she's gone, and for her to be resting is the right thing for her to do. I think this is a very moving piece. So I have a bid of £3,500 and £3,500 only. The next bid I need from you, the QR code is there, you can bid, is £4,000. Who will bid me £4,000? You have the QR code, you can go straight into the bidding platform. At £4,000 is the next bid that I'm looking for. Is anybody out there that would wish to bid £4,000? I think it's absolutely beautiful, stunning, a unique item that's been created especially for this event. It's wonderful. So who will bid me £4,000? Is anybody out there will bid me £4,000? Please bid me £4,000 because it's worth it. Somebody at the moment is going to get a bargain at £3,500, at £4,000 only. Is there anybody out there that will bid me £4,000? At the moment it's £3,500. I'm looking at my screens, the screens aren't bidding at the moment. So it could be yours at £4,000. Anybody out there would like to bid £4,000? I will sell at £3,500 then. Is anybody out there? I will sell at, it's John at the moment, is that right? It's John at the moment? I'm just having a look there. At John at £3,500. At £3,500. £4,000 is the next bid. We've got quite a bit of delay. So if you're busily typing, please forgive me, and that's the reason why I'm also going to open lot 1 again, because interestingly I've had 2 extra bids on lot 1 already. So I will be reopening lot 1, but let's carry on with the bronze at £3,500 only. Is it 4 from anyone? At £3,500, therefore I will sell at 3.5. Are we all a happy team? Happy, Simon?
Yeah.
At £3,500, I will sell at £3,500. It's yours, John, at £3,500. Congratulations, well done. Brilliant. Moving on, while Simon clears his throat. Double Trouble. So this is our friend, our very, very good friend, Karen Lawrence Rowe, who a lot of you are aware of just how amazing an artist she is and how much of a keen supporter she is of this great charity. So this is original artwork, it's a watercolour. In fact, when Simon and I were looking at the lots to put in, I just thought it was absolutely charming. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. How could we not put this into the live auction? Because I think this is absolutely charming. So it's signed by Karen here, lovely watercolour. It's on board, it's been mounted with a sympathetic board. All you need is a very simple frame with something like that. It's very easy to post anywhere around the world for this lot. So, who will bid me, well, let's make it cheap, £600. Who will bid me £600 for this watercolour at £600? Would anybody, there it is on your screens right now, £600. Who will bid me £600? And that's Simon coughing, not bidding. £600. Who will bid me £600? £600, please. You've got the QR code there, the bidding platform is there. £600 is what I'm looking for. Is it £600 from anyone? At £600. £600 is the bid. That I won't accept anything less because I think it's absolutely stunning. At £600, who will bid me £600? I will not sell for a penny less. So please bid me £600. I'm very patient. I'm a very patient auctioneer because I need your money. We need your money. £600. Who will bid me £600? Anybody out there, bid me £600. I won't sell this for anything less. No bids are coming in at the moment. I'm sure we can sell this at a later date if we can't sell it right now. So I have no problem at all in passing this if we can't get a bid right now. £600. Quickly, if you can, £600, I will pass if I don't get a bid. £600 from anyone. No bids at the moment, so we will pass that lot. So let's move on to our last scheduled lot. Remember, I'm going back to lot 1. I'm going back to lot 1, but the lot 6 is the third of the safaris on offer tonight. Or tonight here in the UK, that is. So, before we go any further, have a look at the video. So this lot is 6 night safari for 2 at the Kareka Game Reserve. You've just seen how sumptuous and beautiful it is. Presumably, Simon, you've visited this many times.
I have visited it many times. I've spent, and I've actually stayed in these lodges, and they are stunning. I mean, the 3 nights at Settlers is their sort of 5-star lodge, and it's actually on the very close to the area where we released Colin. So you spend 3 nights there, and then the other side is where Tandy is. In fact, I often say, you know, Kareka is a great place to go if people are going to Africa for one of the first times, because the wildlife is so abundant there. You're going to have an amazing time.
And even that infinity pool with the sunset and a glass of red wine.
Yeah, you can picture yourself already, can't you?
I think I'm there. But it could be yours. It could be yours. Well, I think somebody has already, which is very exciting. But let me just run through what this is. This is a full inclusive opportunity to enjoy a 6-night stay for 2 at the Kareka Game Reserve. Breathtaking wildlife. This is, you know, just unrivaled. Eastern Cape, South Africa. So this is 6 night safari for 2, the best of the best that this wonderful private game reserve has to offer. I have a bid of 5,750 from Kenda. At 5,750 we are in. We are up and running. Next bid is £6,000. Who will bid me £6,000 for this lot? At the moment, Kenda, it's yours at £5,750. £6,000 is the next bid, please. It's absolutely amazing, just fantastic, and we've done so well with all our safaris and our offer. And I think it's just wonderful. This lot, £5,750 only. Who will bid me £6,000? £6,000, please. As I said to you earlier, I'm a very patient man. £6,000 is the next bid that I'm looking for. You've got the QR code on the screen, on the right there. All you've got to do is go straight into that. That's straight into the bidding platform. All you've got to do is type £6,000 and it could be yours at £6,000.
Jonty, while we're waiting, I have some exciting news
that
might encourage people to bid on this safari.
Okay.
So we've just been told that if we can raise £30,000 tonight, we have somebody who has agreed to match that. But we have to raise £30,000. So we're a little bit short. So we need some more bids. So not only would somebody be bidding on the safari, and that's, you know, we're here tonight because we want you to have a fantastic, entertaining evening. But we also are trying to raise funds to keep rhinos safe out in their natural habitat.
Right.
So if that's not an incentive, by bidding a little bit more for this safari, it's just closer to that £30,000, and then someone has offered to match that. An anonymous donor.
Well, thank you.
And that it will make such a difference. Totally. We need to get up to that 30,000 in the first place.
So no pressure on you. £6,000 is what we need. £6,000 now. Is there anybody out there that wishes to bid £6,000? At the moment, I'm going to sell for 5,750 at the moment, but it could be yours at £6,000. At £6,000, please. Is there anybody out there that wishes to bid £6,000? I will sell, therefore, at 5,750 to Kenda. Anybody out there, please. £6,000 is the bid I need from you. £6,000. I will therefore sell at £5,750. Any further bids at £5,750. I will sell, therefore, at £5,750. Any further bids? It's all yours, Kenda, at £5,750. Thank you very, very much indeed. Right, let's go back to lot 1. So, we had a bid, it was, who was our bidder? That was
Christy.
Humble apologies, Christy. But it's our job to raise as much money as we can. Ordinarily, if I was running a conventional auction room, that would be it. But I'm running a charity auction here, so and I've got the CEO standing beside me, so I have to reopen this. So where are we? Can we just check where are we at the moment? So
5,400.
we were Krista was 5,002. We're now at 5,004. At 5,004, and I'm reopening lot 1 at 5,004. At 5,004 is the new bid. At 5,004 to meet the orphans. A unique opportunity to meet the fabulous orphans. At £5,400, I will sell at 5,004. If there's anybody else who wishes to bid more, the next I will take 5.5 if you wish. At 5,004 at the moment. I will sell therefore at 5,004, and Chris, I do apologise, but I have to take the money. At 5,004, I will sell at 5,004. Is there any further bids? At £5,400, looking at all the screens across me, at 5,004, I will sell lot 1 at 5,004. Any further bids? Sold at 5,004. Thank you so much. Any late bid is a positive bid. Thank you very much indeed.
Excuse me. I will just say, Christy, if you're watching, and I hope you're still watching, we do understand that we did close it, but we will all...
Krista.
Sorry, excuse me.
I see that. I tell you what we'll do. I've seen Krista wants to come back in. What we need to do, Simon, is to sort out both these people.
Excuse me, yeah.
And what we could do, Krista, I know you're watching, Krista. What we need to do is the bidder who's bid 5,004, and Krista. I see that you've usurped the 5,004. I can't keep this running on forever, but let's sort out Krista and let's sort out this bidder.
So Bethany. So we've got Christy who's just bid 5,600.
Yes.
Bethany we sold to at 5,400.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? We've been in contact real time with the guys there. We can get one more for this. So why don't we sell both of them at 5,400?
Let's try and get you both out there at 5,400. How about that? All right,
so
Christy, you've been an absolute star.
Christy, yeah, and one to Bethany.
Bethany and Christy, let's get you both out there for 5,004. That's fair?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that all right? That's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Right, we'll get all that organised. Keep in touch with us. We'll try and communicate with you. But the most important thing, I know you both want to be there, and it's completely understandable. So let's get you out there and let's get you sorted. But anyway, that concludes the live auction element and the draw. That's the end of all the videos as well. I'll just leave you for Simon to hand over. But I want to thank you myself from the bottom of my heart. You know how much that you've participated in this and how much money we've raised. I also want you to focus on the fact that we've still got a fantastic silent auction that's going to be running till 9 o'clock tomorrow night, British Summer Time. There's an awful lot of lots in there which I looked at earlier tonight which have no bids on it at all, so you can absolutely fish for a bargain if you want to. If you want to come back and communicate with us about the Karen's watercolour that's unsold at £600, please do so. I think it's charming and worth every penny. But apart from that, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your input, and more importantly, your support. Thank you very much indeed, and we look forward to seeing you sometime very soon. I'll hand you over to Simon.
Thank you, Jaunty, and thank you so much once again for hosting another great evening for us. Just a closing comment from me, really, and I am just filling for time a little bit while we try and work out how much we've raised tonight. But so I just want to say a massive thank you again to everybody behind the scenes who have made tonight possible. I feel it's been a fantastic evening. We're not done yet completely, so for those of you who bought tickets for the meet and greet, the virtual meet and greet, you will have had an email from us, hopefully several emails from us with a Zoom link. So you'll need to come out of this YouTube broadcast, go into the Zoom link that we sent through with the ID and the password, and there you'll have the opportunity to chat directly with a good number of our conservation heroes. So they're joining us live from South Africa. You'll have a chance to liaise with them directly. Anybody who missed out on that and does want to take part, you can still go to the original links to buy tickets. and you will be able to still just buy a ticket now to go in and take part in that. Your confirmation email will have the link and the passwords that you need to join us. So just give us 1 minute more. We are running slightly late. We did plan to start the meet and greet about 10 minutes ago, so just bear with us for a minute. I think we're almost there in how much we've raised, and then we'll close this live broadcast session and move to our meet and greet. So we have raised on the night tonight £48,000 thanks to all of your donations, which is a fantastic amount, because that means we've hit the 30,000 milestone we needed to for our donor to come in, so we can add another 30,000 to that 48,000. So that means in total tonight we've raised an incredible £78,000. So there's not many people here, but I'm going to give you all a big round of applause. Thank you so much. It really does make a huge difference, and it makes all the hard work of putting on an event like this worthwhile. So thank you so much for your support. Last thing to say is, because it's our 10th anniversary, we only normally do one of these events a year, but we're gluttons for punishment. So we are having another event in September, where we'll have people in the room as well. So if you're in London, you'll be able to join us in person. And that will be on Thursday, the 22nd of September. It's called Global Gala for Rhinos. Keep an eye out for it. We're excited about it. We have a lot more 10-year celebration stuff to share with you. And it's being held actually on World Rhino Day. So what better way to celebrate World Rhino Day than coming to our 10-year celebration party in London, if you could make it. So a date for your diaries, Thursday, 22nd of September. But for now, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this evening, and we'll talk to the meet and greet people. Just give us 2 or 3 minutes to set up here for there, and we will be with you very shortly.